This is Retirement Keys with Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Anthony provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Keys with your host, Anthony Congemi.
Hello and welcome to another show, Retirement Keys. My name is Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group, and we are so happy to have you join us here today. We want you to stay tuned because later on in the show, we're going to have a special offer for you, so don't change the station. Today, we're going to be talking about providing tips and resources for you to create your retirement strategy. I have our fabulous co-host with us joining us today, Tony Shore. Tony, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, Anthony, great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show once again. And you know, I've had a great week. I've got a little bit of a cold, a hoarse voice. I guess too much yelling at the football games over the weekend, last weekend. You know how it is at the sporting events. Do you ever get so excited you yell at the TV?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, yep, it's really a big part of our Sunday, Tony, yelling at the TV all day.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, well, I know you're busy over there at Crescent City Retirement Group. You guys have been you've been meeting with a lot of clients and a lot of our listeners, haven't you?
We sure have, Tony, and a lot of our listeners take advantage of the retirement workshops that we put on every month. And it's really a great way. You know, it's really nice to have our listeners come to the workshops. You know, it's nice to just meet, you know, a lot of the folks that tune in every Sunday and come to the retirement workshops and enjoy a nice meal. Of course, it's all complimentary. And then really dig down and drill down a little bit on retirement planning. It's an hour long, so it's not a long talk. And we really put a lot of information into it, formatted to our retirement plan. So it's really a good question and answer in the workshop. So I would encourage any of our listeners, if you are listening and you've been listening for a while and would like to come to one of our retirement workshops, make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to make a special offer here as we go through the show today.
Well, Anthony, I'm really looking forward to this show because I think it's really important that we all discuss what we can do to create that solid retirement strategy. And from what I understand, there are a lot of factors out there that need to be taken into consideration, aren't there?
There definitely is, Tony. I agree that this is a great topic to go over. As people approach retirement, it's good for them to learn about the tools they have available to help them prepare for their retirement, no matter the unexpected surprises that may come their way. And we were talking about this morning, Tony, in our meeting. You know, if you have a plan and the plan is well designed and well thought out, a lot of the things that these unexpected surprises, if you will, don't necessarily have to be unexpected surprises. If you've got a well thought out plan that encompasses all of the different aspects of a well formulated retirement plan, that's the goal really, and that we talk about a stress-free retirement. And the reason we talk about that is because we put plans together that do encompass, now it may not encompass everything in the world that could happen, but certainly the main things, the fundamentals of a retirement plan are certainly represented. And that's really going to be key, Tony, to have a well thought out, well put together retirement plan to be able to maintain retirement and not have these, if you will, unexpected surprises that just jump up that you're not ready for.
Right. And you know, I know a lot of people struggle with that transition. You know, we're going from our working years into our retirement years. So how often do you come across this? Do you meet people, Anthony, who are having a difficult time making that financial transition into retirement?
Fairly often. Retirement planning is one of the top things that my clients are concerned about in one aspect or another. Oftentimes, planning is something they don't do naturally. many of our clients have taken a trial and error approach to establishing their retirement lifestyle. Something I'm always happy to help my clients with is forming a retirement plan, which includes creating an expense or a retirement budget. So, one of the foundations of any solid retirement plan, Tony, of course, is a retirement income plan. And when you're solving for income, you need to have a pretty good budget or an expense or a lifestyle budget that's going to not only talk about expenses, normal expenses in retirement, but also the things that people want to do in retirement, their hobbies, their more social aspects of retirement. And so all that needs to be considered.
Yeah. Yeah. And, coming up with a spending plan, I like how you mentioned that. You have to have it. How do you help your clients prepare for this financial transition into retirement?
Well, the first step in preparing for retirement is figuring out how your expenses could change once you retire. More than likely, they're going to change. So one of the first things I do is compare their current expenses to how their expenses could be once they retired. Afterwards, I take a look at their current savings, which helps me determine if what they have will be sufficient for their retirement plan. So, we start with expenses. We start with income needs. We look at, the social aspects of retirement and say, okay, this income here is what we're looking for. This is what's going to maintain our lifestyle. This is what's going to allow us to do the things we want to do. And then we start looking at the assets and Social Security and pensions and all the other pieces of the puzzle to say, how are we going to formulate a plan that's going to structure some income in retirement?
So other than savings, what do you look at for primary sources of income throughout retirement?
Social Security is typically a primary source of income. It's obviously one of the cornerstones of many Americans' retirement plans and can play a big role in helping to bridge the income gap in retirement. Many of our clients have a hard time understanding Social Security, which is very common since Social Security can be confusing. However, it's imperative to understand Social Security before making any decisions surrounding it. Making the wrong Social Security decision, like triggering your benefits at the wrong time, may impact whether you're able to collect your maximum benefit. In addition, one aspect of my job that I really enjoy is helping my clients maximize their Social Security benefits and help them meet their retirement goals. So, the foundation of any retirement plan, I would say, is income planning. And of course, the foundation of the income plan is going to be Social Security strategies. So the Social Security Maximization Report, Tony, that I know you're very familiar with, and we've done whole shows on Social Security maximization, but it's really the cornerstone. It's really the foundational piece of the income plan.
Sure. And what kind of tools do you use then to help your clients maximize their Social Security? You mentioned that, and I know you have a report, right?
That's true, Tony. We have that Social Security Maximization Report. This is a report that analyzes all possible filing strategies, examines multiple opportunities, and shows the best strategies for our clients to take income throughout retirement. One of the most fulfilling parts of my job is making sure that our clients understand what they are entitled to and educating them on how I can help them get it. The Social Security Maximization Report is extremely helpful since Social Security is so vital to so many Americans as they look for dependable income to bridge the income gap in retirement. So as I say, Tony, with this report, it runs so many calculations and so many scenarios and everybody's age, and it looks at life expectancy, and especially for married couples, how much you put in, how much your spouse put in, and it really, puts all this together and to come up with the best strategy. And really, if we can maximize Social Security, that's real helpful, because then we may not need as much on our investment side to really fill in the blanks or fill in the gap. We may not need as much because we've done such a good job on the Social Security maximization. So it really all goes hand in hand, Tony.
Yeah, and this is really helpful information. Now, unfortunately, our time is almost up for this first segment. Is there anything else you want to add for our listeners before we take a quick break?
I would just like to say thank you for listening. You're listening. You want to learn about retirement planning. You're embarking on retirement, and you're trying to plug into programs and shows and tools to help you along the way with making good decisions in retirement. So we want to thank you and applaud you for that. I have a book that's published. It's on Amazon, but I want to send you a free copy. It's called Retirement Keys, The Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. We want to send you a copy of that. And I do have a special offer I'd like to make. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Congemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Congemi. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore. And today, Anthony, you've been talking to us about tips to help us create that ever so important retirement strategy, because that is a tough transition from our working years into our retirement years. You already covered how to prepare for the financial transition, how to maximize our Social Security and how vital that is. And now for our second segment of the show, you're bringing in a special guest. Is that right?
Yes, Tony. Brad Carr is with us. He's one of the advisors here in our firm. He does specialize, and I thought it would be great to hear from Brad because he works a lot with the whole Social Security maximization planning, which, as we talked about earlier, it's really the foundational piece to our retirement plan. So we're happy to have Brad on the show for this segment.
Yeah, and Brad, how long have you been helping people with Social Security and working with finance? You've been working with this quite a while, haven't you?
About 18 years, yes. Not 18 years with Anthony, but 18 years in total, yes.
Wow, and now you and Anthony work together, and you help his clients and people he meets with, correct?
Right, yes. Anthony brought me on board a little while back, and it's just I help him on his workshops and so forth, and handle a lot of the front end appointments for Anthony to try and relieve some of that the pressure. Not enough hours in the day, and we haven't figured out how to clone Anthony yet. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys are very busy. I know Anthony's scheduling it. I get tired just thinking about it. It wears me out. Now, Anthony, we were talking about Social Security. I was going to ask you, but let's maybe ask Brad when the best and worst times to collect Social Security benefits are.
Well, it really depends on their financial goals, what they're aspiring to do. Do they want to retire at 62 or not? Sometimes you can end up leaving a lot of money on the table if you do start at age 62, start your Social Security benefits at age 62. So it's really, I hate to say it, it comes down to each person. Everybody's unique, everybody's needs are unique, and they really need to sit down and get a report and get a plan from Anthony.
Yeah, and Anthony, there are a lot of different ways and some factors you look at to determine the best time for your clients to begin claiming Social Security, right?
Absolutely. I like to ask my clients a couple of key questions that help me gauge when the best time for them to start taking their benefit. First, do they need the money right away? If they need the income to cover expenses in retirement, your decision may be made. If you don't need the money right away, it might make more sense to delay receiving benefits and let your future payments continue to increase. A second factor, Tony, is in your health and life expectancy. Sometimes this is difficult for my clients, but it's important. For people who are in poor health, it may make sense to begin receiving their benefits earlier rather than later. However, if you're in really good health and have a history of longevity in your family, it may prove financially beneficial to wait and trigger your Social Security benefits later. One of the things, the Social Security report, Tony, it always looks at life expectancy. So we like to look at the average life expectancy, and I think for most people, when you see the life tables, most of our clients, as I say, unless they're in really poor health, they feel they will live to life expectancy, and so we like to try to plan accordingly. Because, at the end of the day, Tony, as we say, in terms of a retirement plan, there's really 5 key areas to any retirement plan: the estate and legacy planning, healthcare planning, income planning, investments, and taxes. But this income planning piece is really the foundation of any retirement plan. And that Social Security maximization, that report, Tony, I mean, if you don't get anything else out of today's show, please call in and ask for your Social Security maximization report, because that is going to be the fundamental piece to any overall retirement income plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. And I know that report tells you, the best time based on your personal situation, when to file, the best time to file, how to maximize those benefits, spousal benefits. And speaking of maximizing benefits, Brad, I have a question for you. It makes a big difference, right? If you can let it roll up, that can make a lot of difference. A lot of people take it early at 62, but that's greatly reduced, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Significant reduction if you take it at age 62 versus your full retirement age. For most of us you're going to be 66 in so many months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever, depending on the year you were born. But yes, it's substantially higher. And if you even let it go until 70, it's even higher still.
Right. And I'd just like to interject and say, and that's really a good point. Depending on if we have a married couple too, a lot of times we have survivor benefits that we need to consider. And what's the age difference between a husband and a wife, and how much did each put in? So all of those factors, especially for the married couples, it's so important to get this piece right. I mean, just to show up down there at the Social Security office and without a plan or without a strategy and just blindly, start your benefits without really seeing how it's going to all work together as an overall retirement plan can really be a mistake.
Yeah, I can see where it would be. And the difference is huge, right? Like between filing at 62 and letting it roll up to 70, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars in difference that it could make.
Yes, significantly. It might even be 6 figures.
Wow.
In difference.
Wow.
Yes.
So you really want to have that report you run. So for our listeners who haven't yet filed for Social Security, or if you've just recently filed, you want to come in and get that looked at and have that report run. Now, Anthony, how can the listeners out there have that Social Security maximization report run? How do they do that?
I'll say this, Tony, it's really the first thing we want to do. They get their Social Security. We give them some instructions on how to go online and get an account set up for themselves. Years ago, I know the Social Security Administration would send out annually, they would send out these Social Security reports. Now you have to, dig a little bit, but you can go online. You can get your Social Security numbers that we need for the report. But it's really the first thing we want to do. As it relates to the income planning, it's the first piece. And really, it's just coming into the office or calling 504-828-2171. Let us get you that Social Security maximization report. No matter what plan you have in place, whether you're doing your own retirement planning or you have another firm handling your retirement plan, at the end of the day, the Social Security maximization report is going to be a key, fundamental, foundational piece that you're just going to want to have in your planning process. So I would just encourage you, give our office a call at 504-828-2171. Come to one of the retirement workshops that we're putting on. We have numerous dates throughout the month of October on the North Shore and on the South Shore. Come to one of our offices, one of our workshops, and we're happy to get you that report. But I will say this, for all of the folks that are listening, if you've been listening a while and you don't have a formal retirement plan, you don't have something put together that really, lays out your full plan, I'd invite you to take advantage of this special offer. Listeners, I have a very special offer for you today. The next 20 people that call in will receive a complimentary consultation, a copy of my book titled The Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement, and a personalized Social Security Rule of 100 report, all at no charge. All you have to do is call now to set up that complimentary consultation, and the book and personalized report are yours, all at no cost with no obligation. Call Crescent City Retirement Group at 504-828-2171 now. If you get our voicemail, please leave your name and number and mention this radio show. The number again is 504-828-2171. You don't want to miss this amazing opportunity.
And welcome back to our final segment for this episode of Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Congemi. And I'm your co-host, Tony Shore. And Anthony, great show so far. You've got your special guest host today, Brad, who talked to us about Social Security. And Brad, thanks for being here. We've been talking about tips to help create a retirement strategy. And we've already gone over maximizing Social Security. And Brad, you gave us some great tips on how to know when to start taking Social Security and using tools like the Social Security Maximization Report. Now that we've gone over the main components of accessing our Social Security, what are some additional tips you might have for our listeners, Brad?
Well, I think the cornerstone is really to know what your retirement expenses are going to be. What does it cost you to live, to maintain your lifestyle every month? Are you going to make any changes to that lifestyle? Are you going to buy a boat and sail off into the sunset? What financial changes? Taxes is another key component to that. Okay, you're in retirement now. You're going to pull out money from your pension, your 401k, your Social Security. All right, what tax bracket does that put you into? And Anthony just is an expert on minimizing your tax liability, a very key component that everyone in retirement needs to consider. And you want to look at your insurance coverage. Not everybody needs the same coverage in retirement that they had when they were in their 20s, newlyweds and so forth. So, again, that's another area that is key to have Anthony review and put together a strategy rather than something that just is stitched together from, over the last 30, 40 years of your life. Another thing is Medicare. There's a lot of milestones you have to be aware of when you turn 65. You have to enroll in Medicare. Even if you don't participate or start the benefits yet, you have to enroll. There's just a small window you have to get that right. And again, that's one of the things that Anthony can do for you at Crescent City Retirement. Medicare is divided into 4 different parts. There's really A, B, C, and D, but it's more of an in-depth discussion than we could go through right now in this segment. But again, Anthony has the expertise to really help you define your strategy. What is it you want to achieve? Your financial goals in total. Healthcare costs, very important. The AARP says that every couple will spend about $280,000 in retirement on healthcare alone. Well, how are you going to pay for that? What's the plan? Just to see what happens, or do you want a strategy? And that, again, that's what Anthony does. So, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to prepare for. And Anthony's the man to help you.
Yeah, and some great tips.
Yeah, it was. It is, and he's so right. There's so many different aspects. But, one of the things that I can say that we do here, we're pretty methodical with the retirement plans, as you know, Tony. We really look at the 5 key areas to any sound retirement plan, which would be estate and legacy planning, a health care plan, an investment strategy, income planning, and tax strategies, distribution strategy. And I think that if you go through a very methodical approach to it, then no stone is left unturned. I mean, we can make sure that we cover our bases. And one of the things that I would encourage our listeners is, if you don't have that, if you don't have a formal retirement plan, or if you do have a retirement plan and you would just like to make a comparison or get a second opinion, then this offer is going to be for you. So I would just encourage you, if you're listening today and you've enjoyed you've been listening for a while and you've enjoyed our show, take advantage of this offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi with Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering our 3-step retirement planning process at no cost and a $100 gift card to the restaurant of your choice upon completion of the planning process. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Keys. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Kangemi at Crescent City Retirement Group. Call 504-828-2171 or visit the website at crescentcityretirement.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Anthony Kangemi and Crescent City Retirement Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.